Hello, everybody. This is Ken Double from the Atlanta chapter of the American Theater Organ Society, and you are seeing and hearing the amazing Jelani Eddington at the mighty Wurlitzer pipe organ, 5 manuals and 80 ranks at the San Filippo residence in Barrington Hills, Illinois, with his Star Wars Symphonic Suite. And Jelani Eddington, 2 million and counting, have had the opportunity to see and hear that piece of video. And the congratulations are still very worthwhile, because that is probably the most amazing piece of theater organ promotion, marketing, and artistry ever.
Well, thank you. We had a lot of fun putting that together.
I'm sure. It's great to have you with us, and we are really looking forward to April the 20th. It will be a Saturday afternoon at Stevenson High School in Stone Mountain, where Jelani returns to the Grand Page pipe organ, and it's impossible to believe that it was 10 years ago that you played our dedication concert on that great pipe organ.
It certainly is. I had a fabulous time. It is hard to believe it's been 10 years, but as they say, time flies when you're having fun.
Fortunately, neither you or I look it.
We have a day today, not a day.
So a little bit, first of all, about your background and your career. You are a most interesting model of many of those of us who play the theater organ, and that you play the instrument, you play fabulous piano, you do concerts, but you also have real life. Tell us about your dual careers.
Thank you, Ken. So, yeah, I've always had two interests, both professionally and musically, going on at the same time. In my day job, if you will, I'm also an attorney. That keeps me very busy. I've been practicing law now for just about 20 years, actually a little bit more than 20 years now, and doing primarily consumer bankruptcy cases and estate planning cases. But I've always found it really interesting to have both interests. They're sort of right brain, left brain, if you will. So it keeps me busy doing both things, but I certainly enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
It beats working if you enjoy what you do, that's for sure. So we'll take you back to growing up in Muncie, Indiana, and your piano lessons began with your grandmother.
They did. I started at a young age, about 4 years old is when I started piano. Piano is a great, I think for any musician, a great foundation to have, whatever direction you end up going, whether it be solo piano, organ, pretty much any instrument. It teaches you the foundations and the basics. And from there, I went, sort of graduated, if you will, discovered the theater organ, and had a lot of fun exploring the instrument, playing the instrument. But yeah, it all started with piano many years ago.
And then the Paramount Music Palace, that great pizza parlor in Indianapolis, was kind of your introduction to the theater organ, and to a gentleman named John Ferguson, who has influenced all of us of a particular generation and era that play the theater organ.
Yeah, John Ferguson was an amazing person. He was my first teacher for theater organ, my only teacher for theater organ, for that matter. And I was really fortunate to grow up in the Indiana area, central Indiana, which is where he was. And he worked with me for about 7 or 8 years. And when I came to him at the age of, I think it was only about 12 or 13 when I started with him. And he said at the time, well, I've never really worked with anybody that young, but he was willing to try. He was willing to sort of give me a probationary period, if you will. And I'm really glad that he did. He was a wonderful musician, a wonderful mentor, a wonderful friend of many years, and taught me so many things, not just about how to play, but also how to be a professional musician, how to start a career as an organist. And I will always be grateful for the time that I got to spend with John.
Well, and wonderfully so, you have flipped that to being a very influential teacher yourself of some of our brilliant young players through the Summer Youth Adventure of ATOS, a great program, maybe ATOS's most successful program, but also the individual teaching that you do.
I have had a lot of opportunity to work with a lot of students, and that's been, as sort of I think back over the last 10 or 20 years of my professional career, those are some of the things that I'm the most proud of and the most happy to have been involved in. And I think every generation of organists that comes along, every generation of professionals that comes along, we sort of have an obligation to help the craft evolve and to help impart the knowledge that we have to new people who are trying to find their way with the instrument and find their way in the art form. And there are some incredibly talented young organists that are out there playing today that have come to us from a lot of areas, from a lot of backgrounds through the Summer Youth Adventure Program from ATOS. That I've had a chance to work with some of them. My colleagues, Donna Parker, Jonas Nordfall, Martin Ellis, and others have had opportunities to work with other very talented young musicians as well. So it's definitely something that I've enjoyed being a part of, and it's very gratifying, you know, when you work with somebody and you see them make that progression from 12, 13, 14, 15 years old to fast forward a few years, and you see them start their careers as musicians, them going out and starting to do programs and becoming young adults and young professionals on their own. So it's been a very rewarding thing to be part of.
A quick question, and then we'll get into this program coming up. And I'm curious, you obviously have a vast repertoire, and it's a growing repertoire. At what point in time do you decide, I want to put that into a concert arrangement and add it into my programming? What inspires you on a piece, or where does that first idea take hold?
Well, that's a great question, because there are, when you're thinking about a concert, public performance of any kind, whether it's a formal concert or maybe a smaller, more informal gathering, you're always thinking about a couple of different things. On the one hand, you're thinking about the music that speaks to you as an artist, and then you're also thinking about what are the sorts of things that you think your public might be interested in hearing. And so kind of balancing those things. I think every organist has certain styles of music that they relate to. Maybe it's favorite genres, favorite styles. And then thinking too about what the public might like to hear, so that it's not, we try to avoid having a program that's all exactly the same thing, all the same style or the same era. It's kind of mixing things up, keeping a good variety there. So as I'm going through and thinking about music, those are the two main things that I think about. Like thinking back to the Star Wars. The Star Wars was something that sort of brought two areas together for me, because I've always loved movie music. I've always loved orchestral music. And Star Wars being what it is, it's known the world over. So it's something that you can have fun putting together, you can have fun arranging it, and you know that when you perform it, the audience is going to like it because they're going to recognize it, they're going to know what it is, and it will hopefully bring back memories of perhaps seeing the film in the theater, or lots of memories that will trigger for the audience as well.
Sure. And the fact that you had the theater organ world's version of a 140-piece symphony at your fingertips helped make it impactful as well.
That helps. Yeah.
Sure. So on Saturday, April 20th at 2:30 in the afternoon, Jelani Eddington will be in concert at Stevenson High School in Stone Mountain, Georgia, at our 4-manual 23-rank Page theater pipe organ, of which we are very proud. And we're honoring an incredible musician with our second scholarship that is given in his name, Graham Jackson, who was incredibly influential in Atlanta. And among his work, because he was an orchestra director and band leader, choir director, a teacher, accordion, piano, and theater pipe organ, he played at the Atlanta Fox. He was an incredible musician, and with an unreal influence far beyond Atlanta. And I know you've had an opportunity, Jelani, to see the video. I mean, he was huge in Atlanta, but well known because of his association at the White House.
Absolutely. And what an inspiring story to hear and learn about his journey professionally and musically, and the influence that he had over so many. And being able to, I just think about what that would mean to have the opportunity to play for President Roosevelt, and the connections to Atlanta, the organ, and just the music that he was able to bring to so many people during his career it's really an inspiration.
This is the photograph that the world had seen following the death of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This is Graham Jackson playing his accordion in his Navy uniform as the train made its way from Warm Springs, Georgia, back up to Washington, D.C. Life magazine and every wire service everywhere in the world made Graham Jackson famous from the standpoint of that photograph. And then there he is at the White House with FDR. And his business card says, favorite of presidents. What a business card.
That's amazing. Really
Beats
amazing.
mine.
Mine too.
And then there he is at Mighty Mo. And he was a wonderful improvisational player and jazz player. John McCall is in the video talking about having been surprised to see Graham Jackson come out of the pit one evening with himself playing at the Mighty Mo. And so we honor a great musician, and we provide our second of the annual scholarships. Last year, a young fellow named Corey Bowler, a trombonist from Stevenson High School, got our first scholarship award, and he landed at the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York. We don't know who's winning. We'll find out on concert day. But I remember 10 years ago when you performed with Quentin Goins and the Wind Ensemble, you were blown away by the quality of the musicianship of these young people at Stevenson High School.
Absolutely, and without a doubt, it's an incredible music program that they have. Incredible group of young men and women, and I think what a wonderful thing to be able to do to honor Graham Jackson with the scholarship and to provide those opportunities to those very, very deserving young musicians.
Quentin Goins has been at Stevenson High School for around 20 years. Last year, honored as the 2023 Georgia Music Educator of the Year, which is quite an honor for him. And we will obviously have our video introduction about Graham Jackson, and then Jelani will play. And then you are going to be playing during the second half with the Wind Ensemble, and that is a great, exciting experience with the band members and the Page pipe organ.
It is, and it's a fun way to show the organ off in a lot of different ways, because it's such, those who've had the chance to hear that instrument will know already that it's an incredibly versatile instrument. And you can do so many different types of music, so many different styles with it. And it's always fun as an organist to be able to perform not just as a soloist, but working with other musicians as well. So definitely looking forward to that part of the performance.
The other thing that's interesting is that we, of course, in Atlanta are totally familiar with Mighty Mo, the great Moeller pipe organ at the Fox. And for many, the Wurlitzer name is theater organ. For some, the Robert Morton, maybe the Kimball. This organ is a Page, and it doesn't take a backseat to any of them. It's a spectacular organ.
It is spectacular, and it's over the last number of years since I played it for the very first time, now about 10 years ago, it has gotten better and better every time I hear it and every time I get a chance to play it. So it's a very colorful instrument. It's a very orchestral instrument. There are times that when you hear it, you think you're listening to an orchestra, and that speaks to the versatility of the instrument, and it's definitely a powerhouse.
We are most definitely looking forward to having you come back down here to Atlanta, Georgia, and get some of this Southern hospitality again. By an odd flip of the coin and fall of the dominoes, he gets to stay at the Georgian Terrace, so that's a pretty good deal. That'll maybe bring you back for another visit in the future.
Look forward to it very much.
Jelani, thanks for visiting with us. We can't wait till April the 20th, and we look forward to the performance. It is Saturday afternoon, April the 20th at 2:30, Stevenson High School, 701 Stevenson Road in Stone Mountain. The tickets are just $15 in advance at our website, atosatlanta.org, $20 at the door. Again, it is a scholarship concert honoring the great Graham Jackson, and our chapter will award its second $1,500 scholarship to a deserving student who's going to study music. And we look forward to that. We look forward to hopefully seeing you there. Mark that on the calendar. Carve out some time to hear this spectacular Jelani Eddington in concert here in Stone Mountain. Thanks again, Jelani, and everyone. We'll see you in Stone Mountain on Saturday, April 20th. So long.